I still hear from people, like even from people who are engaged in apologetics for a long time, that apologetics is ineffective. I don't know why I keep hearing that, but unfortunately we keep hearing that. And you go through the youth exodus in depth in the book. And in fact, we've had Sean McDowell on the podcast, and he has talked on the book he co-authored with Jim Warner Wallace. So the next generation will know. We go in depth through it, so you can check it out in the episodes later. But you have something much more experientially specific to point out on why you stand with Christianity. I mean, you pointed in the book that your mother had faced cancer, you faced cancer, your sister faced terminal cancer and she passed away. You faced depression, childlessness, and here you are, not only just believing in Christianity, but galvanizing others, pouring your heart and spirit, your heart and soul into the work. What held you close to God through it all of these emotional ups and downs, throughout all of these personal struggles? What held you anchored to Christ?
Yeah, I would say that Christ is the one how would I say this? Christ saved me, but apologetics saved my faith. There we go. Faith in Christ saves me, but apologetics saved my faith.
Right.
Like you said, there's a long list of stuff, and I didn't even include all the stuff that I've had in my life that the Lord has graciously allowed me to endure because it made me who I am today. But while we were writing this book, after we turned in the first manuscript and when I was having to do all the subsequent edits, I was walking my sister through her final month of life. And there's been so many times throughout my life where I've just struggled with, we'll say, sometimes my own emotions. And any time that I felt like, maybe I should just chuck this whole Christianity thing, and everybody else says life gets easier when you do that, I always went back to that sermon series my pastor did on the evidences for the resurrection. I was so convinced, and I still am, that the resurrection happened, that no matter what I go through, believing that Christianity isn't true is not an option. Now, I could choose to decide to hate God, but I can't decide that he doesn't exist and that Jesus doesn't exist and never did and didn't come and die and rise again. And I would say that because my personality type is very oriented to truth, that truth matters probably more than anything else to me, that is what kept me from walking away from the faith, despite any tribulation and trial that I might have gone through. And I'd say even coming in the future, I can't unknow what I know. There's so much evidence for all the things that I believe, that all these other little piddly things that people bring up. And I've had atheists try to evangelize me into their atheism. And I'm just like, dude, this is a losing battle. Like, you're not going to give me some meme that's going to combat, decades of research that I've done. I'm sorry, it's just not going to happen. People sometimes think that apologetics is, what was the word you used? Ineffective?
Ineffective.
Well, it may be ineffective for people who have already chosen to reject God, but I really don't think apologetics is trying to convince people who have already rejected God. Apologetics is for people who already believe and want to believe, and it's removing obstacles that might actually pull them out. My husband always gives the example. We pay all this attention to people walking in the front door of the church, and then we have the back doors wide open with people leaving in droves. And if we could do something to shut those back doors to where people are not choosing to leave, that is actually way more effective than almost anything we can do. We need to be bringing people in. We need evangelism, absolutely. But we also need to make sure that the people who have come in and who have wanted to follow Christ have good reasons for staying. Because some big epiphany at a conference sometime, that feeling may not carry them the rest of their life. They need to know in the hard times, why do I still believe this? Because if we have this belief that God promised us an easy life, you know what? You need to go back and read, number one, just the story of the early church and the amount of persecution and killing that went on. And number two, you need to go to Voice of the Martyrs and see what our brothers and sisters around the world are experiencing. This whole thing of even like, oh, woe is us, we have to stay in our home because of COVID. I'm sorry, even that is not persecution in comparison to church history. So people who think that apologetics is ineffective, I'm just going to say, well, you can say that if you like. My personal experience is that it was the most important thing for me for grounding that faith. Right. And I have witnessed that with countless other people as well.